Let us continue with the questions. Now, observe this question. Society has attached a special meaning to the term professional. Now, what is the exact definition of professional? Now, observe your options and say me the correct option, right? Someone who has passed a qualifying exam to enter the job market. No, all the qualified persons cannot be professionals. So, your first statement is bluntly wrong. A person who is expected to conduct himself requirements of society laws or regulations. Yes, this is perfectly correct, right? Now, this is the definition of professional. Now, what society has attached, right? Now, what society has attached. Now, observe the question carefully. This is what you will be fumbled, right? So, your B statement is perfectly right. Now, let us see C and D. A person, C and D also. Any person who receives pay for the services performed. No. Now, an unprofessional, non-technical executive can also receive money for the services performed. Someone who has both an education in trade and on-job experience received under an experienced supervisor. No. All these definitions are not under professional. Right? Now you got the meaning, right? So sometimes negation will give you the answer. Right? Next one. The form of ethics that endeavors to help professionals decide what to do when they are confronted with a case or situation that arises an ethical question or moral problem is referred to as. Now see here, when they are confronted with a case or a situation or an ethical question or a moral problem. Now when this comes, now you are speaking about professionals. Now automatically your option will go down to professional ethics. Now got the point? Yes. Next one. A professional is described as the one who is bound by professional conduct. He has specialized knowledge and skill. Now automatically which suits your answer? Member of a profession who applies specialized knowledge and skill based on profession standards of excellence. Right? Now see here, exact given definition of professional is given there. Done. Now licensed or certified practitioner. No. Your C option doesn't match. Employee of an accredited agency. No. Member of a profession who strives to advance his or personal needs or interests. No. No, all these doesn't come under professional. These are all parts of the profession. A derelicitation. Now we are learning this term first time. A derelicitation of a duty that directly causes damage is referred to as. Now, what is this derelicitation? Now see here, one more secondary point. Now, this ethics topic is nothing but your Oxford Dictionary meanings, right? Derelicitation means, now this is associated with negligence or you and not incompetence. Now, these are the terms that we learn regarding this derelicitation. Now, this negligence may be deliberate or without intention. Am I right or wrong? There will be two causes for this. Now, this is known as standard of care, where avoid unintentional negligence. Now, a derelicitation of a duty that directly causes damages now is referred to as which one? Negligence. Now you got the point. You have to know the exact meaning of derelicitation. Dereliction, sometimes you call it as. Right? Engineers shall hold up paramount the safety, health and welfare of the public welfare performing their professional duties. Now 21 statement 1, this statement 1 is exact code of ethics given for engineers. Now I have discussed this question in detail in the video itself. Right. Now your statement 2, engineers shall continue their professional development through their careers. Yes, statement 2 is also a code of ethics. Now, is there any relationship between them? No. Now the statement 1 is speaking about safety, health and welfare, and statement 2 is speaking about professional development. Now your both 1 and 2 statement are individually true, but 1 does not explain 2. Now got the answer for this? Done. Next one. What is a set of attitudes which implies a motivational orientation concerning the value of work, it seems? What is a set of attitude which implies a motivational orientation concerning the value of work, it seems? Now automatically what's your option? Work ethics. Right. Now what work ethics deals? Now work ethics involves motivation towards one's work based on moral principles and importance what we give to our work. Now see here, all the options will be very near. You have to be very focused. A code is defined as. Now what is the definition of code? I have given in the video also exact definition. Now code is generally a non-statutory, not made by a law, but is supposed to be followed as a member of particular profession. It is desirable but not mandatory. It is desirable, but this is the crux point. It is desirable but not mandatory. Done. Now which option satisfies this? A system of no statutory, non-statutory, no mandatory rules on personal conduct. Now you got your point. Your B option is exactly the definition of code. Done. What refers to the rendition of services by a duly licensed professional by virtue of his technical education, training, experience and competence? Now what's your answer there? It is nothing but your rendition of service. You are speaking about a service provided by a professional. Now automatically your answer will be professional service. Now a profession is defined nothing but traits like skill, technology, education, expertise, extensive training. All these comes under a professional. Am I right or wrong? Yes. Easy picking, right? Now ethical practice and professional practice are integrally linked. Now this is your answer. Why they are integrally linked? Now we have discussed this also. Right. Now see here, there will be always an influence of ethical principles on your profession. Am I right or wrong? Your ethics will be worked out on your profession. Now we cannot have a professional practice without ethics. Now automatically they are integrally linked. Done. Easy, common approaches. The underlying reason for a code of professional conduct for any profession is. The underlying reason for a code of professional conduct for any reason is. Now what is the reason for the code that we have learned in our videos, right? Now a code promotes honesty. Am I right or wrong? Yes. Now it promotes fairness. Now it promotes public interest. Now we are speaking in terms of your profession. Right. Now see here, having codes is nothing but to ensure that your profession is bound to public interest. Now which option satisfies this? The need for public confidence in the quality and service of the profession. Your first option is the exact underlying reason. Right. Now what is your B option? That it provides a safeguard to keep unscrupulous people out. No. this doesn't mean the exact code. This is required by federal legislation. No. Your D statement, that it allows licensing agencies to have a yardstick. No. Code is not a yardstick or benchmark to measure deficient behavior. Right? Done. Which of the following is not usually the objective of code of ethics, it seems? Now, to create an ethical workplace, yes, this is a code of ethic, is an objective. To evaluate the ethical components of proposed actions of the employees, yes, this is an objective. To improve the public image of the company, yes, this is an objective. To enhance the profits of the business continuously. Right? Now see here, your code of ethics will not deal with the economy factors, monetary concepts. So your D option is not an objective of code of ethics. Right? Focus on the questions. Which of the following is or characteristics of an ethical decision making, it seems? Now what are the characteristics? Now first, ethical decision making is not a simple based on rules. It's not a simple approach based on rules. Hence, this ethical decision process needs some knowledge and as well as practice, right? You must need knowledge and practice. You are aware of this? Now, it is a complex process. Yes, this is correct. This is not a simple process. It is not rule based. Yes, perfectly correct. It requires practice and wisdom, not just knowledge. Yes, perfect. Now, all the above. Yes, all the above is correct. Am I right or wrong? Yes. One more question which is related to concept, right? You are given with a situation, then what will be your answer there? An engineer designs a small structural steel building for a client using pirated structural design software obtained from the internet. The engineer later learns that software gives accurate stress analysis for tension but does not properly predict buckling of columns in compression. The computer program is patched and a revised analysis shows that building is not as safe as first believed. An extreme snowfall could cause the supporting columns to buckle and the building might collapse completely. Now, such a severe snowfall occurs about once every 10 years. What should the engineer do now? What will be his ethical decision now is the question asked. Right now, what will be his ethical decision? Destroy all the evidence of revised analysis and hope for good weather? No, bluntly wrong. Contact the client, discuss the problem and try to negotiate a way to reinforce? Yes, this is the decision that he has to take. Hire a good defense lawyer for association's disciplinary hearing against the engineer for negligence and unprofessional conduct? No, bluntly wrong. Contact the client, disclose the problem and tell the client to sue the software developer? No, perfectly wrong. Now you got the correct answer. Now situation based questions. Which statement is true, it seems? Now you are asked to find out correct statement. Skills not enduring due to fatigue. Skills not enduring due to fatigue is true. Now, what are skills? Skills are set of learned activities which may be restricted due to fatigue and tiredness, right? Skills are a set of learned activities which may be restricted. I will write down the things which may be restricted due to fatigue, or you call as tiredness. Right. Done. Now, next one. The final proof of sincerity and seriousness is uncompromising emphasis on integrity of character in a job. Yes, perfectly right. Now, the mental contents of a good person are called moral and ethical values. Yes, perfectly right. So your answer is all of the above. Your D option satisfies this. Human and ethical values or qualities such as courage, vision, social awareness, fearlessness, integrity, pure and clear mind, truth, etc. are subjective, subtle, and what are these concepts called? Courage, vision, social, right? I think you can answer it very easy. Intangible concepts, right? You cannot touch it, right? You have to sense it. Tangible means you can sense it, you can touch it. Intangible concept, I mean, likewise your intellectual property rights, they are intangible properties, right? Your intellect, already we have discussed about this intellectual property rights, IPR, your patents, they are your intellectual contacts. Done. Which statement is true? Human harmony and happiness are main objectives of any enterprise to justify its survival and progress. Yes, perfectly right. The harmony and happiness are the main objectives. Value related to internal domain of business, that is interactions with employees, customers, suppliers, creditors, public, etc. Yes, perfectly right. Now, value should be an integral part of corporate mission and objectives. Yes, that is perfectly right. So your answer is all the above. Now, these are the points that you have to consider under the company's core rules and values. Now, decision making in professional practice and ethical practice. Right? Decision making in professional practice and ethical practice. Now see here, what this decision making actually has. Now it involves a rotational choice between the alternatives. Am I right or wrong? Whether in your profession or your personal activity. But you have choices, you will choose the best choice. So we must make right and ethical decisions by making the best choice. Now see here, in both your ethical practice and professional practice, you follow a same strategy and process. Am I right or wrong? Yes. You will be given with the choices. You will choose the most ethical one, the most correct one. Now that will be your answer automatically. Involves, should be considered separate issues? No. Different methodologies? No. Should left to supervisors? No. Your first statement is perfectly right. Effective leadership style requires an understanding of which quality? Effective leadership style requires an understanding of which quality? Right? Sattva, purity and righteousness, perfectly right. Rajas, aversion and selfishness, yes, perfectly right. Tamas, ignorance and laziness, yes, perfectly right. Now requires an understanding, right? Now you need to understand these qualities. Now see here, all these qualities are nothing but imbibed from Hindu philosophy, right? Now your option is all the above. Which one of the following is not a relevant factor in interpersonal skills? Right? Which one of the following is not an relevant factor in interpersonal skills, it seems? Now what's your answer there? Your positive attitude is a factor of interpersonal skills. Now you're doubting the intention of colleagues. No, this is not a factor. So you are asked to find out not a factor. So your B option satisfies this. Preparedness to listen is a factor. Ability to manage emotions is a relevant factor. Now your B option is not a relevant factor. Assertion and reason. Decision making required practice and wisdom, not just knowledge, it seems. Yes, your statement A is perfectly true. This is what we have discussed earlier in the question, right? Not just knowledge, you need wisdom and practice. Decision making is fundamentally choosing the ideal set of conditions. Is it true? No, bluntly wrong. Now see here, decision making is fundamentally choosing the alternatives available, not seeking for ideal condition. Now see here, you will have is choosing the alternatives available. It's not ideal set of conditions. This is what I have discussed in the previous question also. Observe this, one more secondary point drawn. So your answer is A is true or is false. Next one. Decision making is simplistically typically described as which of the following? Now what you say, decision making is fundamentally choosing the alternatives available. Am I right or wrong? This is what the exact definition. So your answer will be choosing among alternatives. Right? Got the answer? Right. Next one. Managerial decisions are strongly influenced by the organizational culture. Yes, perfect. Your internal politics. Yes, perfect. Your power considerations. Yes, perfect. So your answer is all the above. Which is the most suitable systematic arrangement of decision making process, it seems. Right now, who gave this most suitable systematic arrangement of decision making process? Peter Drucker. Now this is an HR concept that was included here. Peter Drucker have given a scientific method of decision making which involves 6 steps. Now the first one is defining and identifying the managerial problems. Now your first one is the first step. Now next, analyzing the problem. Your second option is the second step. Developing alternate solutions. Yes, your third one is the third step. Now selecting the best solution out of the available alternatives. Yes, your fourth one is the fourth step. Converting the decisions into action is a fifth step. Yes. Now ensuring the feedback or follow up is the sixth step. Now see here. Now this is the Peter Drucker philosophy. Now this was given in HR concepts. Right? More in HR concept rather than in ethics, right? Peter Drucker scientific method is nothing but a method of decision making. Method of decision making. Right. Now close this. We are dealing this only in the question concepts here. Done.